We now return to SimCity 2000 and a little bit of an intermission here. So before we rebuild Gasburg, I just wanted to take a moment and point something out. I've been experimenting here in this little test case city, and I've been experimenting with layout. First of all, primarily what I've been experimenting with is the ratio of the 4 residential, 3 industrial, and 1 commercial. I have discovered that this ratio is almost perfect, only for light zoning. And as soon as you introduce heavy zoning in it, specifically, or dense, I should say, dense residential specifically will throw this off completely. And the reason for that is because dense residential allows for the production of churches, and that wipes out a significant portion of your population. So you'll see here, I've got this checkerboard layout here, and one thing that's really interesting is that by replacing even just one of these, or actually replacing 2 of these with 1 dense residential, even though the church will remove the overall residential population that you'll have, it's still also somehow the small surrounding zone tiles are still enough that your unemployment will skyrocket. Another downside to the dense zoning is that the various zones, I guess, will clump together. You know, they'll grow bigger into a 2x2 or even a 3x3 or whatever. However, just because of the simulation, those will come and go frequently, especially at cheetah speed, and so that causes a massive amount of fluctuation in population in your city. So you'll be out of people, you'll need people. I mean, it's absolutely crazy what dense does to the game. It completely throws off everything. So I have built 2 little, I guess, neighborhoods here, purely of light zoning. And you'll see that this is sort of the traditional zoning, where you are supposed to separate the industrial from the residential with a little bit of the commercial. And here, I've scattered them all about. And there's a few interesting things to note about what this actually does. So we'll take a look here first at, I guess, traffic. So traffic in both of these towns, you see here that it's kind of all over the place, obviously, but it is much worse over here. And we can definitely see that by, 76 cars there, 74 cars here, 76. It is very densely trafficked. And that is largely because, as we look at this, they are all coming from here and going to work on these roads. So by separating them, you are giving them a very long distance to drive to get to their work. Whereas over here, we see that zoning is actually pretty mild, like 50, 55, 48, 36. For the most part, especially on the outer rings, it's only 30, and it usually seems to average about the mid-40s to the 50s. So significantly less traffic, and it's kind of all over the place just because they have the ability to go everywhere. And especially with the pattern that I've got here, this zone here has work there or work there, and then commercial right next door. Likewise, this one can just go across the street. It's never very far away from the various zones. And you might think, well, okay, the downside here is going to be the pollution, because you're right next to your little factories. Well, yes and no. So pollution is all over the place, as you might expect, but it is much more concentrated over here, and that largely is because when you have polluting areas, polluting zones, factories and power plants and all that stuff, it accumulates. It is a cumulative effect on your city. So by having huge blocks of zones dedicated to your industrial, they're creating more of a concentration of pollution, which is being compounded by the road traffic. So that's another plus side here of lighter traffic, is that you're not, you're avoiding that. So the downside to what I'm doing here, giving this the proper 4:1:3 ratio, is that I obviously do not have any room for public transport. So I would end up having to basically eliminate little corners all over here and then find another way to replace them somewhere else. But, I mean, even crime, we look here, It's very concentrated to the centers of these areas here. They're not, it doesn't spill over, whereas we come over here and crime is just everywhere. And again, it's a large part to do with the pollution. We can also take a look at land value here and what this has done. So obviously you've got a huge area here that has very poor land value, and it looks like the highest land value out here is the high traffic area. But even in here, it's not too good. Come down to South Zone here, and it's interspersed, but you've got pretty good coverage here for value. And to point that out even further, we'll go ahead and click in here. You see 130,000, 170,000, 200,000 in the commercial, 100,000. So only as you get out on the corners of these blocks do you start seeing it go below 100,000. And even here, though, you're still seeing a middle-class home. And I'm going to turn these on to point that out, too. Each of these little blocks, you'll see there's a lot of, lower-class homes, but there's also at least one luxury home, and in this case, 2, 3. Every area seems to have at least middle-class homes or one luxury home. And we come over to here, where we just got blocks of nothing but residential, and you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like it's very few, and most of these are either middle class or mostly lower class. But right down in here, we're seeing barely above 100,000, and over here it's all 80,000, 80,000, 90,000, 80,000. So this whole area over here sucks. I mean, 40. What was that one? The one that said 40,000 right there. I mean, we're right next to service buildings and everything, and overall your value is just terrible. Even though it is purely in residential, I mean, it's got nothing, and low density is supposed to be higher land value too. So if we had put high density in here, we would also have the added crime and all that, and it is lower in land value. I suppose there might be a multiplier effect just based upon population. How many people you can fit into that square in a high density versus a low density. But overall, I was just very surprised that the way you're supposed to do it, by separating your zones, is actually less effective than a nice little checkerboarded pattern here. And this is something that is very easy to just expand upon. Keeping in mind that you'd probably want to park every other and then have another service building like the school and the hospital and all that. But, I mean, this seems to be a very extendable kind of pattern. And again, the downside being that you'd have to find out where you're going to put, your various transport hubs. And it might actually be a good thing to maybe put it right in the middle of the block, actually, just because, you've got a doubling up here of industrial zones, and so they're compounding the pollution problem. But I just thought this was really interesting, and it might be something I want to use back in Gasburg, as opposed to this sort of thing. So we're going to go back to Gasburg, because we have a city to rebuild here, unfortunately. Disaster everywhere. Alright. Well, I do not know. Did we have something here? I don't know. We'll just start by putting roads back in, I guess. Best we can do. Can you not? And there is so much crap here that I just honestly do not feel like bulldozing it. Even though I should for land value, I'm willing to bet it is going to come back fast enough. And if this ever happens again, a better thing to do, rather than just leave these piles of rubble here, or empty strips, is to replace them with water. Basically, replace all the roads with a moat. And it's kind of a mess to clean up, but you can drag roads right back over surface water, and it will lay them down. So, at least in that regard, it's not too bad, although to put it down is $100 a tile, so really only a strategy, I guess, if you've got a lot of money to waste. But man, this place was just absolutely devastated by all those fires. We had it contained very early on, and then the space monster moved, so that is definitely the downside to that disaster. Okay, I think we got it all here. Let's go back over to the north. And all this new development out here. Oh yeah, I guess, while I'm at it, better take out another bond, huh? We're gonna have to. We want to be very effective and expand on top of that, but I have a feeling there's a few service buildings and infrastructure buildings and all that I'm gonna have to come in back on here and... Alright, so this was clearly something. I guess it would have been a hub of that. This was probably a school. And if I'm looking at my trend, that'd be a park. Alright, well, let's just put in what I can figure out. And I'm pretty sure that was a school. Even if it wasn't a school here, we need them. We need them very badly. Although now, maybe not so much. What with the big decline in population we're about to face here. So I guess I just had this out here as power line. That's connected. That's gonna have to be a road. Mess. What a mess. All of that should still be zoned. It's just going to take a while to clear up the rubble. Okay, and then I don't believe... Let me look underneath here. I don't believe this actually destroyed pipes. Oh, maybe it did. Maybe it did. Either that or I just wasn't paying attention and connecting them properly. Either is entirely possible. We're not getting a lot of pumpage out here, so I either need to make more pumps out here or put them closer to this area here. And we are seeing disconnect. Oh, that's attached to a park. That's not going to help me. Okay. Well, we'll just let this do as it does. Oh yeah, we got another one here. I guess this whole area is going to be disconnected here. And this one too, because this is not going to be connected via anything. Okay, now I think the zones are all hooked up again. Maybe. I'll put one in here too, just for good measure. Alright. Now we shouldn't have problems here with this, but I could put one there again. We gotta come down here, and actually, before we do that, we've got to clear all this crap up. So this was just trees, I think. If I don't clean these ones up, these ones will hurt land value, as they just sit out here. Right. So, I think we're in a situation here where... that. Let's see if we do police coverage, maybe fire. It definitely wasn't a fire. What were you? What were you? School, maybe? Might have been a school. Gotta get the power back out and running. And, oh, there's a whole road out here. This has to come back. Power line to that. Power line to that. Okay, maybe I didn't need to take out that loan. But I think what I'd like to do, since I do have it now, let's grab you, get that out of there, get you out of there, and let's put down some subways. Should not do that. I'm looking for subway station. God, every time. Now we can put subway down. And how do I want to connect these so this doesn't go all over the place? Okay, stop, stop, stop. It connects to there. So, having super long routes like this is not super great, just because you know, I think I mentioned before, your Sims only have so many places they can go, so many steps they can take, and so if you got to go from here to here to here to here, and this is your destination, your Sim isn't going to make it. So we need to have a different idea toward that. That looks connected to me there. God, that was expensive. We went from having a lot of extra money to no extra money. Yeah, see, like, you would never get from here all the way over to here. That's just not going to happen. So what we need, to make it more effective, would really just actually be basically a grid underneath the city, pretty much following every bus stop I've got. But, so I don't think I'll be building too many more of those, to be honest. And what is this? This is just where road would have been. And we got a lot of pumps that are no longer down, so we need to fill that in. Water pump. Did I have something there, or was this also a subway station? Can't remember now. Looks like we're missing a bus stop out here. Well, I guess we'll find out when things grow back. Or if they grow back. Let's put that there. Gotta have ourselves a water tower. And we need to have electrification out here. Could have just pulled that in from here, but whatever. Alright. So now I definitely don't have what I was hoping to have as far as extra money to expand with. Could build up there. Why don't we just go ahead and continue building down here? Then I can build into there. I want to actually try an experiment with this idea down here from the experimental map. It needs to be 100. We're going to see what happens if I actually do this checkerboard pattern here. So if I do light industrial, that's a lot of pollution right there. So maybe I'd actually like to do that here. Maybe try a buffer here. I think I'll also have to do stuff along the edge here as well. This is going to be a lot of pollution. I can already tell. But, yeah, just do it. Just do it. Just try it out. What's the worst that could happen? So I'm having an idea here. what if we reverse these? Now this isn't good for the pattern, but I'm just thinking having this here as opposed to on the opposite side might be slightly more beneficial. And I guess if I really wanted to eliminate what was going on there, I could put down some of this. Right there, smack in the center. So, kind of like what I've got going on here, I could have a bus depot. Yeah, I could run a road up in here, have a bus depot there with subway, and then surround it maybe with parks, rather than have a service building up here, because we might need to have police. I think we were seeing that the police were not too great down here. Yeah, it's kind of bad right there, actually. Could maybe replace that. Just replace a lot of industry. Well, we'll keep it down and we'll see where it goes. Let's grab you. Go with 100. Grab another one. And I don't know if I'll keep that or not. Let's see, I could put it. Okay. Well, it's not going to be a perfect pattern, but it's just an idea anyway. And it's a little late right now because the ratios are going to be off just enough as it is anyhow that doing this is not really going to matter. But I at least know it'll be covered, and I know that it will at least be extra places for people to go to develop into, and it will provide a little bit of money. Speaking of money, okay, I've still got a plenty. We need to do some power lines, and these ones are going to be, well, let's have these ones go all over the place because they need to be. Another thing about doing this is that it will allow these to develop very, very, very quickly, which is beneficial. Alright, how is our power supply? We've got a little bit. This might immediately come back and be kind of hurtful to me. Oh yeah, traffic has gone back up to there. Alright. Well, let the games begin. All those little disconnected ones out there. Our money has gone down dramatically. And none of that is redeveloping. It's probably largely because these are more desirable areas to rebuild into, and I also think that maybe this rubble and crap actually does have a negative impact. The desire to come back. We also do not have any connection to power here, which is strange. I mean, we've got a damn power plant right there. How are you not connected? Oh yeah, so there was a bus station there, I guess. Which is now going to require power. We'll do a little bit of cleanup, and hopefully a little bit of cleanup is going to sort of get them jogging again towards redevelopment and cleaning everything up here. It looks like I had... That was probably a church. You gotta be real careful not to go blowing up the things that you need. Alright. Yeah. Okay, now let's see what this does. Those are good. These areas are still out of whack, but these places are reconnecting, regrowing. So I guess that does actually have an impact. So let's lower this down to, say, llama speed now. Crime is low. Okay. We need another hospital. And we need another school. So I'm gonna guess that might have been a hospital. Let's put a hospital in here. And we'll put a school down here. Stop. Thing again. Hospital. We'll reconnect and let this go to llama speed. Start cleaning things up. And encourage some of that rebuilding effort. And this whole block just got completely wiped out. Oh, and there was something in the middle of this one too. Not anymore, there's not. It was probably a hospital. Oh. I think that was a church too, probably. Doesn't really fit the... Yeah. Doesn't fit the profile for somewhere, although that looks like a subway. Definitely was. So now we need a subway station. Put that back. I don't know that we need a subway station, but it's otherwise disconnected there, so we may as well. So maybe, was that a park, maybe? Because I got a big empty spot here, too. So something was missing here, and this was probably a park. Crap, now I got this all backwards. Well, let's grab you. Let's look at crime. Okay, we could probably put another police station back in there. Pollution, please no. Land value. Okay, land value is pretty high. I'm gonna guess police station, and if not, we can at least use one. Okay, it's starting to clean up and rebuild. Oh my god, was there another one? So I had an empty spot here and here? What in the hell did I have going on out here? Oh, we definitely need park. So I may as well put one of those in. I feel like another park there is excessive. So let's wait and see what the budget report is going to tell me, because I'm sure it'll tell me something fun in regards to people. Okay, surprisingly, there was a lot of traffic here, and now it's gone. And it's kind of moved over here, so we need to rethink what I've got going on here, for sure. Alright. You're obviously good, good. Trim and efficient, and adequate. Okay. So I guess I haven't developed out here yet. Shit. Let's put that down to turtle. I'm just gonna spam park. And this was clearly a road. We got more demand for people, so why don't we put more demand for people to good use? What are the statistics? Unemployment's gone up a bit. Is that because places haven't redeveloped? A little bit, but not much. Okay, looks like we've got an electrical crisis out here again. Hey, the HSIM corporate headquarters. That's the media company. Right. Yeah, so now I guess I gotta keep an eye on what we're doing. Not that one. That one. Keep an eye on what's going on here. I could, I guess, put another one down. We got more people. Sure, why not? Just fill her in with people. Because I can't remember. All of this. Oh yeah, we're gonna try something else here too. Delete all of that and then put road in, or rail back in. Nope, that puts it all back. I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah, traffic is not actually that bad out here anymore. That's not what I was looking at. 65, so that's pretty high traffic. 78, that's high traffic. So really, right here, where there shouldn't be any traffic issues. Let's go check on our neighbors again. Rebuilding is slow. It's very, very slow out here. We've got 54, okay. Not ideal. Is there a transport situation here? We could use another. I think I will end up with like a subway out here or something. It's about the only thing I can do. But going on here, what's the land value I like here? Pretty high, all things considered. It is not getting watered though. Is that because of that? No. No, it's just this whole area here is not getting watered. Yeah, we just don't have enough pumps. Once again, I can't really rely upon this because, well, they're separate. So, let me look here. Alright. I think it might be time to put down bunch of pump infrastructure here. Electrical seems to be doing alright, even though these are separated. And I wonder if maybe instead of putting down a bunch of that infrastructure, I should just connect up my systems. I don't know that that would help immediately. But we can definitely put more stuff down here. That was kind of dumb. I should have put water in those places. It's alright. So we'll do something like that. We'll do water pump, not water pump, water tower. People aren't going to like a desalination, or not a water treatment plant right next door. So that's not a good idea there. We could maybe put some parks like that. But I would like to have... It's not that at all. It's not that at all either. I guess we do have one out here, though. It is connected to this thing. I forgot about this. And it's still underdeveloped. It's not doing what it needs to be doing. Probably end up putting a friend out there at some point. But, okay, go back to llama speed now. So, what do we need to address? Good grief. Need to address the slight amount of unemployment we are facing, and given what I do know, as we have already discovered, I'm going to be less afraid about zone mixing, because that's really not that big of a deal. Did this have the impact? Yes, it had the desired impact. So I guess that's what we're facing elsewhere, and I may need to make some man-made lakes if I want the water to hit some of the more extreme areas in the city. We'll pick some light industrial here. We can move on from this song. How about we move on from that song? Boo? What do you mean, boo? I think because I raised taxes accidentally. Hospitals are doing okay. Schools could use a little bit more funding, but they've got all the funding we can give them, so we need just more schools. So that's that situation there. What the? Okay. Don't know how to explain. I'll leave that spot. I'll leave that spot for a subway. Sure, why not? Even though, actually, the subway is going to go here, if we stick to the development pattern. Come back out here. See, I've got money. I need a power plant. Shit. One of these plants is going to go down here soon, too. 30 years on you. 30 years on you. Ugh. It's a brand new one. God, I can't afford anything crappy. I can't afford anything good. I'm just not getting the money. I guess that putting down another coal plant would do the trick. And if I put it out here and keep it towards... I'd really like to actually share this. I think we're probably having a power issue over here more than over there. If I keep this more towards the edge of the map, kind of far away, I might yet be able to replace it. How about there, then? I'll be able to replace it before it becomes an issue, hopefully, in theory. Not powered, not watered. Oh, that's the road. Not my... Not... Oh, shit. Pause. We got a big pollution problem in this city. We got a real big pollution problem in the city. Kind of put this into places and see what we can do about it. I don't know if we can do anything about this. Let's go and we'll see. So the police are actually responsible for this one. I don't know how that works. Awful clouds. Clear out were the words filling the air after a flavored chemical spill occurred near a lantern. Reports started coming in around 5 in the afternoon. Firefighters are donning poison control equipment. Yuck. Rent-a-cop response. The tide is rising against criminals in Gasburg, say Metropolis law enforcement officials who have hired 300 temps to help drain the avenues of thieves. I'm assuming that means we're okay. Or police. I guess one way to check is to look here. You know what? We can have this go, at least turtle speed. Go to crime. Okay, it's getting pretty bad out there again. And it is still very concentrated here. So I think I'm left with very little choice. I think I need to put in yet another one. It would be better here, obviously, but we also need that transport. Although that's not doing much good right there, it doesn't look like. You know what? Let's put a stop to that for a moment. And I'd actually kind of like to put a stop to spending so damn much, if I can help it. Unemployment's pretty low. Our power supply seems to be good. We're not really suffering any shortages, and my money situation has not bounced back to what it was, unfortunately. Why is that? We were reaching almost 2,000, and then a disaster happened. Oh, because we're paying for this crap. Yeah. Okay, let's get that done and out of the way. Get out from underneath that, so that I have money to actually spend on the expansion and development of the city again. I'm seeing demand here. Why isn't this developing? Now it is. Yeah. So before we go spending too much more money, we need to be spending it and getting our money back. But then what I would like to do is consider doing basically a redo of the transport in the city, especially in this area here. I think that what we're going to have to do is maybe do one every block, and we've got that kind of going on here, but it also needs to happen here, so I should be moving these to the corners, because that's not really helping anybody right there. I can start putting in bus stations all along the edge there as well. So overall, this seems to be pretty good. I mean, look at that. Even here with the traffic, it's still fluctuating, but it's not too bad. Let's take a look at what crime is like right out here. Okay, we got that issue. Pollution is very negligible. And land value, not so great, but it's not so bad either. Because it's not watered, that would probably help. And we happen to be right next to a rather large lake. But let's just wait a tick until I can get some of that. So I think, yeah, this whole sector out here is not watered. This whole area is not watered. This area could be watered by that one. Do these need to be watered? The problem with relying on the coal plants, aside from the pollution and the fact that they are 50-year lifespans, is that they are also 4,000 simoleons apiece, which means that when one of them goes down, I need to replace it at a great cost to me, and it's not that easy to do. Our approval rating. Still 74%. Okay, I think we're good to pause this one here, pay back our loans, and we are now back in the money. Alright, what are we thinking here? Crime is low, police, fire, hospitals. We need more schools. More schools. What's our school looking like anyway? Education 102. Okay. Well, the best we can do is just keep filling that in and getting more people through the school. Probably putting down a bit more of the library. We're not really, we've got a B for libraries, which that can't be tied to money because we are fully funded. They take from the education budget. So it's just got to be number of libraries, which once again is another knock on all the information that I've gotten from people who know better TM in those guidebooks that I've spent so long reading over the past few weeks, because it says one library ought to handle 20,000 people. We are almost at 60,000, and I know for a fact we've got more than 3. So, do we? Yeah, we got 4. So I guess we actually just need more. It's probably more tied to the number of educated people you've got in the school system than anything else. But yeah, we'll just keep going on. 60,000 though, that's pretty good. That'll be our next milestone, but I really, the goal of this Let's Play is going to be trying to get at least one arcology, and right now I feel like that's going to be very difficult. We are almost at 2150. Alright, well, I'll see you next time.